911, where's your emergency?
I need someone to come out here to my house.
Tell me exactly what's going on.
My wife has been shot. She's in her van.
Where's the gun, sir?
3625.
It's right here in her hand.
Is there a pulse or anything?
I can't find a pulse. You can come over here and check.
CPR?
Yeah.
What happened tonight? We were arguing, and the last thing I remember, I was going in the house, and I heard a shot, a scream, and then another shot.
Open the bag. Give me some trauma shoes.
Stay clear of patient.
The realization started hitting me that she shot herself.
Analyzing heart rhythm.
We'll stay back here. What they're going to do is try to determine if they can get a pulse, okay?
Check airway. Check breathing. Check circulation.
Hey, Chief. It looks like suicide to me.
Did anything about your relationship with Tiffany lead you to believe that she was suicidal?
Not at the time. Looking back, just seeing how depressed she actually was and reading some of her journal makes me think she was hiding a lot of stuff.
Tiffany was one of my very best friends. She was a big spirit. She had big plans. She wanted to see the world.
This was a school photo.
She was my firstborn, my only daughter. She was very involved with her children. She used to dance and sing with them all the time.
Her goal was to bring people together. That was why she started Mothers Helping Mothers.
MHM is a community for all moms of all walks of life. It doesn't matter your background. We want to be there to love and support you.
Do you believe she would take her own life?
No. I had just talked to her. I do not believe that.
When we learned that she had shot herself twice with her non-dominant hand, we were fairly certain that there's no way.
Were you certain Jason did it?
I couldn't figure who else did it. Just no way physically possible could it happen the way that he said it happened.
To believe that she did it to herself, you have to believe she used her non-dominant hand.
Very impulsive.
And then shot herself twice.
Yes.
Most suicides don't involve 2 shots.
Yes. Most, not all.
We don't believe Jason is guilty of this at all. They did not see blood or anything on him. They found nothing that would indicate he had fired a firearm recently. I think she gave up. I think she just fell apart and decided to end it.
Did you kill your wife?
No.
There wasn't anything that had ever happened through the years for me to say, oh, he might be guilty. I never, ever thought that he was guilty.
I don't have a pulse. She's right here. She's gone.
Where's your emergency?
My wife is shot. I need someone out here, please.
It was just after 11 p.m. on May 2nd, 2017, when then 37-year-old Jason Crawford called 911 from right outside his home in Cullman, Alabama. That is about 50 miles north of Birmingham.
Sir, is she breathing?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm trying to lift her up so I can see.
Jason remembers that night vividly.
Felt like it was taking longer and longer for anybody to get there. And eventually I saw some headlights.
Body camera footage shows what Coleman County Sheriff's deputies found when they first got to the scene.
EMS is on the way, okay?
Jason's wife, 32-year-old Tiffany Crawford, was slumped over in the driver's seat of her own van. There was a pink revolver in her left hand, which Jason says she kept in the driver's side door of her vehicle for protection. When one of the sheriff's deputies tried to check Tiffany for a pulse, the gun fell out of her hand.
What happened tonight? We were arguing. I gave her stuff so she could go. I didn't let her in the house. And the last thing I remember, she said she loved me, and I was going in the house, and I heard a shot, a scream, and then another shot.
Tiffany had been shot twice in the head. Paramedics tried to revive her.
Analyzing heart rhythm. Check circulation.
I was thinking, well, then maybe there's a chance she's still alive.
But it was too late.
And they come over and told me that she was dead. It just made me feel sick at my stomach.
To at least one of the deputies on the scene that night, it appeared pretty clear that this was a suicide.
There's nothing here so far that says anything to me other than suicide.
And it wasn't long before deputies realized who Jason Crawford was. The son of Rhonda Crawford, who works as an office manager at the sheriff's office.
Yeah, you know it's Rhonda's daughter-in-law.
Coleman County Sheriff Matt Gentry soon got word.
The chief deputy called me and said, hey, it appears that Rhonda's daughter-in-law had shot herself. I said, I'll go out there and check on them.
By the time the sheriff got there, Rhonda Crawford was already on scene. It was Rhonda, Jason's mother, who called Tiffany's mom, Cheryl McGuckin, to tell her what happened.
I felt like I was kind of frozen in time in that moment. And I said, is Jason there? Can I talk to him? And he was already speaking with the police.
Is that her gun that she kept with her?
Yeah. And so I got off the phone and I tried to figure out what my next step was.
Cheryl's thoughts soon turned to Tiffany and Jason's children. They shared a 5-year-old son and a 4-year-old daughter. Tiffany was also stepmom to Jason's then 14-year-old son, Logan. All the kids were inside the house that night. The 2 youngest were asleep. For Cheryl, life really hasn't been the same since then.
What are the things that you miss about her?
You know, the things I miss about her is her spontaneity. Tiffany was an individual that had a huge heart, and she just wanted to engulf everyone around her and help them find joy.
That is why Cheryl says Tiffany devoted much of her spare time to a support group that she had started on Facebook called Mothers Helping Mothers.
We're there to laugh with each other, to love each other, and to just build you up in everyday motherhood.
She saw a vision that there were other mothers that needed somebody to talk to. And that group took off like a wildfire and spread all over the country.
Tiffany and Jason had been married a little more than 6 years when she died.
What did you think of Tiffany when you first met her?
I thought she was striking and beautiful. She was outgoing. A lot of things I wasn't, you know, so it was more of like, I guess, opposites attract kind of thing.
When they started dating, Jason had been divorced for several years. His first wife, he says, had cheated on him. Tiffany was in a relationship at the time, married in fact. It wasn't exactly a fairy tale beginning from the outside looking in. But Jason says for the two of them, it was
like fireworks in the beginning.
Tiffany eventually got divorced, and that is when she and Jason married and started their family. Just what led up to her death on that night in May 2017
She's gone.
Would be up to the investigators to find out. Sheriff Gentry remembers a conversation he had on the scene with the coroner.
He says it appears to be a suicide. He said the only weird thing is there's 2 shots.
What do you recall about what you thought in that moment?
Well, that's weird. It's strange. Now, has it happened before? Yes. but it's not normal.
One of the shots was to her left jaw area. The other was to her left temple.
I said, because of his mother's connection to our office, for transparency, there has to be an autopsy done.
Sheriff Gentry says his investigators went on to process the scene that night.
We investigate every suicide like a homicide. So the van was searched, evidence that was needed to be was seized.
But the next morning, Sheriff Gentry decided to turn the case over to the Alabama State Bureau of Investigation.
I could have told our guys to work it, but because of the potential for conflict, I want full transparency.
Joe Parrish is the state agent who got the case.
What's the first thing you do?
I went to the district attorney's office and asked him about the van.
Parrish wanted to get his hands on that van in which Tiffany was shot, so he got a search warrant for it. But there was just one problem. You see, the van had been released to the Crawford family, and by the time Parrish got to it, less than 24 hours after Tiffany died, it had already been cleaned by Jason's family members. The sheriff's office had given them the go-ahead.
I didn't want the kids to see anything. I was worried about them when they woke up in the morning.
What did you make of that the van had been cleaned?
It was odd that they would clean it up that quick after something like that.
But Sheriff Gentry defends his decision to release the van.
There was nothing of evidentiary value to the van. They processed it, took pictures, they did everything they normally would do on a crime scene that night.
Right, but if you're treating it like a homicide, I'm not turning the van over to the family.
Sure. And I completely understand. So it was treated, we worked it like a homicide, but it was treated like a suicide. Every bit of evidence that was needed was taken.
But as it turns out, that van would be significant. And so would what Jason and Tiffany were arguing about right before she died.
Yeah, I could tell something was going on because she was getting more distant.
Jason Crawford says that in the months leading up to his wife Tiffany's death, he noticed a change in her.
She had been drinking a lot too. 2 or 3 bottles a week, sometimes.
So you had a feeling something was up?
Yes.
And he says his suspicions were confirmed the night Tiffany died, when just hours before she got home, Jason found messages on their computer suggesting that she was having an affair.
So I started calling her, just trying to see if she would tell me anything. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about, denying it. And I was like, okay, well, I think you need to get home.
Tiffany's mom, Cheryl, says she knew about the affair.
She called to let me know she was on her way home and that Jason and her were going to have a discussion about their problems.
Did she sound worried?
She did not sound worried. She sounded kind of hyper and, anxious. I just said, well, I love you. Be careful.
Tiffany's friend, Lindsay Luke, says she also knew about the affair. Lindsay says Tiffany told her she was making plans to leave Jason and that she got a job at a local grocery store to save up money for a new life on her own.
She knew what she needed to leave him and how she was so close.
Was Tiffany afraid that Jason was going to find out about the affair?
Yes. And she didn't want him to because she didn't want to hurt him.
But that night, when he did find out, Jason says he was hurt and angry. This was the second time a wife had cheated on him. When Tiffany got home, he says that's when he confronted her and refused to let her go inside.
I kept telling her she's not staying the night. So she asked me, why can't I stay? I was like, you've destroyed the sanctity of our marriage.
You were really angry.
Yeah, I was angry, but I was controlled anger.
Jason claims they argued for more than an hour. And when he remained insistent that Tiffany was not going inside, he says she asked him to go and get her work clothes.
I went in and grabbed some clothes and threw them to her. And then I told her I'm done talking. So I went in the house, and as soon as I went in the house, I heard a shot, her scream, and then another shot.
And then you did what?
Went right back outside.
And what position was the door in, the car door?
The car door, it was pulled to or closed.
Jason says that's when he called 911.
I need someone to come out here to my house.
Police or medical?
But in that call and the police body camera footage from that night, Jason never mentioned an affair.
The last thing I remember, she said she loved me.
Lead investigator Joe Parrish says authorities didn't learn about the affair until the next day. Also, when Parrish listened back to that 911 call, there was more that caught his ear.
He was very cold. It didn't sound like somebody that was worried about his wife.
I'm going to need some more information from you.
And there was one question that the 911 dispatcher kept asking Jason that he wouldn't answer.
Who shot her in the head?
Who shot your wife? He was avoiding the question.
I would like to play the 911 call for you.
Okay.
911, EMS, where's your emergency?
My wife is shot.
You seemed cool as a cucumber.
Oh. I don't know, maybe that's just the way my tone of voice is.
She's been shot. Who has she been shot by?
Please have an ambulance come out, please.
She asked you who's she been shot by,
Mm-hmm.
and you didn't respond.
Yeah.
Why not?
Again, I just felt like if I said it into existence, it would be true.
She's been shot in the head.
Did she shoot herself in the head?
This lady gave you an opportunity to say yes.
Yeah.
And you didn't respond.
I don't know how many more times I can tell you. I just froze in thought.
Do you understand how somebody listens to that and says, yeah, because he did it?
Yeah, I can understand that.
And that's exactly what Joe Parrish thought. A week after Tiffany died, and with her autopsy results still pending, Parrish decided to bring Jason in for questioning.
Joe Parrish, I'm with the State Bureau of Investigation.
During that interview, Jason spoke in detail about discovering the affair and the argument that he had with Tiffany.
So you ruined our home. He's like, you're no longer part of this.
And he also answered a question that Parrish believed was key.
Was she left or right-handed?
She's right-handed.
Right-handed.
Tiffany was right-handed, but the gun had been found in her left hand.
How often in your experience do suicides happen where the individual uses their non-dominant hand?
I've never seen it personally.
And it's not like I know she's like so predominantly right-handed that she couldn't use her left hand.
But why would Tiffany,
We want to be there to love and support you.
a woman who devoted so much time to helping others, suddenly kill herself?
There was nothing suicidal about her.
Even Jason finds it hard to explain.
Had she ever spoke about wanting to kill herself?
Not that I, no, not to me.
I appreciate you coming down.
After Parrish interviewed Jason, he was free to go. But about a week later, he was brought back in for questioning, this time by Parrish's colleague.
And I'm going to advise you of your constitutional rights.
Jason agreed to take a polygraph, and investigators told him he failed.
Your reactions were off the chain, okay? You're saying that there's no way that you shot your wife.
Correct.
It wasn't long before things turned contentious.
I don't want to hear that I didn't shoot my wife, because I know that's a lie.
I can't get up and leave because I'm under arrest, right?
You listen to me, huh? Walk out that door. You know what?
That interview also ended with no arrest.
I gave you a chance.
Because of a backlog, it would take nearly a year to get the missing piece of the puzzle, those autopsy results. You see, the manner of death was ruled a homicide, and that is when the decision was made to present the case to a grand jury.
I have no doubt in my mind he's guilty at all.
Jeff Roberts was the Coleman County Assistant District Attorney at the time.
I think the forensics tipped the case.
But would a grand jury indict Jason? Even Tiffany's mother had her doubts.
Even though I didn't want to believe it was a suicide, naturally, I wouldn't want to believe my son-in-law killed her either.
What do you make of Jason's 911 call? Chat now on Facebook and X.
It's a sad situation. Whether on one side you believe somebody committed suicide or somebody committed murder. Neither one of those scenarios work in my mind.
In the year following her daughter Tiffany's death, Cheryl McGuckin says she had a hard time believing that her daughter could have killed herself. But she also couldn't imagine that her son-in-law Jason would have pulled the trigger.
Did you ever call the investigators and say, I want to know every bit of details you have? I want to know all the details.
No.
Why not?
I suppose I didn't want to let that cloud my time with my grandkids and my relationship with Jason and his family.
My family and friends would never question that I wouldn't kill my wife.
Jason did have a lot of support, but not from the investigators or then Coleman County Assistant District Attorney Jeff Roberts and his legal assistant Deborah Ball.
She was too out there to help other people. She's not going to kill herself.
There's no way that that's what happened.
Once Roberts had received word that the medical examiner had ruled Tiffany's death a homicide, he decided, along with lead investigator Joe Parrish, to seek an indictment against Jason.
I couldn't figure out who else did it. He's the only one who had a motive to do it, for one thing.
The grand jury came back with an indictment for murder for Jason Crawford.
Jason called me and told me it was very shocking and very confusing.
On May 21st, 2018, just over a year after Tiffany died, Jason surrendered.
Walked in, I told him he was under arrest. He didn't seem to be worried.
He didn't seem to be worried.
No.
Jason wasn't in custody for very long. In fact, he was released on bond. And Robert Tootin and Nicholas Heatherly became his defense attorneys.
We don't believe Jason is guilty of this at all. There's no evidence. They did not see blood or anything on him. They found nothing that would indicate he had fired a firearm recently.
But the night of the shooting, Jason was never tested for gunshot residue, and his house was never searched for bloody clothing. Still, Tootin and Heatherly say they believe Jason, who says he was inside the house when the gunshots rang out.
His oldest son heard his father come back in the house right before the first gunshot.
Both arms.
And about that polygraph test that Jason was said to have failed?
Did you shoot Tiffany Crawford?
Police investigators use those as an investigative tool. If they think somebody is guilty, they tell them that they have failed the polygraph and insist they tell what really happened.
They gave you a lie detector test and you failed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they can make those read how they want to.
Jason's defense team also downplayed that 911 call, the one in which investigator Parrish noticed Jason sounded calm, even evasive.
If someone's never been in a high-pressure situation like that where they've just been shocked by what they're seeing, they probably would not understand how that affects somebody.
It just felt like I was outside my body, not knowing what was going on.
But the prosecution was confident that Jason was guilty. Dr. Valerie Green was confident too. She is the medical examiner who conducted Tiffany's autopsy.
You remember saying to yourself, I got a feeling there's more to this story.
Oh, yes, definitely. I think the thing that made me think that there could be something else going on with this case is that gunshot wound on the left side of Miss Crawford's head.
Dr. Green says that based on the absence of gunpowder particles and abrasion around the wound to Tiffany's left temple, she concluded that the shot had to have been fired from at least 10 inches away.
That's indicating that, she's holding her arm outward beyond 10 inches and trying to shoot herself. Not saying that it's impossible, but it's not likely.
It is especially unlikely, says Dr. Green, because Jason reported that he found Tiffany in the driver's seat of her own van.
Where's the gun, sir?
With the gun in her left hand.
It's right here in her hand.
And the car door closed.
That was concerning to me because, I mean, for you to be able to hold up a gun and shoot yourself in the head, it would be difficult to do in such a small space.
That's not all, says Dr. Green. Neither of Tiffany's injuries were contact wounds.
She didn't have a contact wound here, and she didn't have a contact wound here.
Correct.
Most suicides involve the barrel or the tip of the gun being placed on the skin.
Yeah, you said most, not all.
But there was something else Dr. Green noticed, specifically about that van.
I remember looking at pictures of the driver's side door, and I didn't see any blood on that door. I didn't see any blood on the glass or the window. I didn't see anything even low on the door. That makes me think that the door was not closed. And I think that that door is open because he was standing there.
Despite the autopsy report and the fact that a grand jury had indicted Jason, Tiffany's mom continued to support him.
I never changed how I felt towards Jason. I mean, what purpose would that serve? You know, he's also somebody's child. And he's the remaining parent to my grandchildren.
More than 4 years would pass before the case ever went to trial. And during that time, the defense would retain their own medical examiner, the former chief medical examiner for the state of Alabama. And he had a drastically different opinion than Dr. Green.
I believe it's a suicide.
See more photos from the case at 48hours.com.
In November 2022, more than 5 years after Tiffany Crawford died, her husband, Jason Crawford, went on trial for her murder. Prosecutor Jeff Roberts was confident in his case, but he knew there would be challenges.
The fact that it was considered by the officers on the scene apparently consistent with suicide, I thought this was going to be really tough to overcome.
Jason's defense attorneys, Robert Tootin and Nicholas Heatherly, also felt that they had their work cut out for them.
Simply because there's no way to really find a definitive answer for exactly what happened.
We were only allowed to film the trial from outside the courtroom through a windowed door. Tiffany's mother, Cheryl, who said she didn't want to hear the details surrounding her daughter's death, chose not to attend the trial.
I knew that there would be things said on both sides that I didn't want to have in my head.
But she did go on day one solely to testify. She was the prosecutor's first witness.
He assumed that I was on their side.
Instead, Cheryl says she told the jury how she really felt about Jason.
I've never had any issues with Jason.
Megan Brock was a juror on the case.
She was telling everybody, me and Jason have a great relationship. I was like, really?
You thought it was weird that his mother-in-law might still be supporting him as he's on trial for murder.
Yep.
Undeterred, the prosecution moved on with what they felt was evidence of Jason's alleged motive: anger over his wife's affair. A friend of Tiffany's testified that Jason called her after learning that Tiffany had been cheating on him, and that he said he couldn't go through this again, referencing the fact that his first wife had also had an affair. Jason claims he didn't say that.
His first wife cheated on him. Tiffany cheated on him. Isn't it plausible for somebody on the jury to think, hey, look, the guy snapped, so he killed her?
I don't think that happened at all. He didn't snap over his first wife. They remain friends even to this day.
How old is she?
Jason's 911 call was also played for the jury.
My wife was shot.
And they saw some of that police body camera footage, too. The prosecution also called DNA analyst Angela Fletcher, who examined swabs taken from Tiffany's gun. She testified she couldn't say for sure whether there was any female DNA on the gun because there was only a trace amount of DNA detected. But she was certain that both the grip and the trigger contained male DNA.
Is it Jason Crawford?
No, the profile was so limited that I was unable to do any type of comparisons.
There's other people that have touched that gun that were males. My dad gave her the gun, so his DNA may be on it. Her brother also shot it.
With so little DNA detected, the prosecution argued that Jason must have wiped the gun and then planted it in Tiffany's hand.
There's no proof, there's no evidence of it at all, no.
Her DNA would have had to be on that gun if she did it herself.
But perhaps the most damaging testimony against Jason came from medical examiner Dr. Valerie Green. She told the jury how she believes the gunshot wound to Tiffany's temple was fired from more than 10 inches away.
Which is way more consistent with him standing outside the car shooting her than, her trying to hold a gun, over 10 inches away.
But the defense showed the jury a pre-recorded deposition with their own medical examiner, Dr. James Lauritsen.
I believe that Mrs. Crawford shot herself first in the left side of the face and then shot herself in the left side of the head.
Dr. Lauritsen also testified there is no way to tell how far away the gun was when that shot to Tiffany's temple was fired because her hair was in the way.
I do realize that scalp hair can filter out gunpowder particles, but that was taken into consideration. I would expect more abrasions to have been able to filter through her hair.
The defense also argued that Tiffany had been struggling emotionally. She had started seeing a counselor just one day before she died. And friends of Tiffany testified that she had been drinking excessively and that she was upset because the man with whom she was having an affair had recently broken up with her.
He told her he didn't want to have anything else to do with her. Basically, her whole life's falling apart, and I think she just gave up.
Tiffany's journal was also entered into evidence. And in an entry dated the day she died, she wrote that she was struggling with figuring out what to do with herself and that she was trying to avoid breaking down.
Isn't it possible that she was having thoughts of suicide?
I would say no. She had started seeing a counselor. That's somebody who was looking forward in life.
Jason's son, Logan, also took the stand for the defense. He testified that he heard his father inside the house when the gunshots went off that night. But the prosecution questions his memory.
When he keeps hearing the same story, his story's going to start matching up somewhat like all 14-year-olds would.
His story never changed. He was interviewed by law enforcement, and it stayed consistent.
As the trial was drawing to a close, the defense made a bold decision. They called Jason to the stand. He testified that he loved Tiffany and denied killing her. But both the prosecution and the defense acknowledge there was a point where he lost his cool.
He argued a little bit with the prosecutor.
The person on the stand was the person that you could easily see doing this.
Jason also testified that he called Tiffany a degrading name that night she died.
You said to the jury, I was trying as best I could to make her hurt inside as much as I was hurting.
Yeah. I was just basically talking down to her like she was not human. I feel sorry because I feel like maybe that contributed to what pushed her over the edge to do that.
Even though Jason's testimony likely did him no favors, there was still no direct physical evidence pointing towards his guilt.
There's no evidence that Jason fired the gun.
And after 4 days of testimony, the case went to the jury.
I said, oh God, here we go. I don't know if this man did it or not.
It was November 18th, 2022, and Jason Crawford's fate was now in the hands of a jury. Behind closed doors, Megan Brock says she and several fellow jurors were on the fence about his guilt.
And I was like, so we're gonna sit here for the next however long it takes?
My stomach was in knots.
Cheryl McGuckin admits she was nervous for Jason and his family.
You know, this is my son-in-law.
After several hours deliberating, the jury requested access to that body camera footage. Then they asked for the 911 recording.
My wife is shot. I need someone out here, please.
About 30 minutes later, they announced they had reached a decision. Cheryl was in the courtroom, only for the second time.
And who were you with for the verdict?
I was sitting with my husband right behind Jason's parents and the rest of his family.
As for the verdict, this is how Megan says the jury came to their decision.
When we listened to that 911 call again, that was it.
So the 911 call sealed the deal?
That was it.
Really?
The operator, she keeps asking him, you know, who shot her?
Who has she been shot by?
Finally, she was like, okay, well, where's the gun at? And he said, laying beside her. And we were like, wait, what?
Where's the gun at?
It's laying beside her.
He clearly said the gun is laying beside her, when in fact, the body cam footage just showed her holding the gun. Barely, but holding the gun.
The gun wasn't laying beside her.
It was beside her because it's on her side, in her hand.
They found the gun in her hand?
Yes.
You understand the difference between in her hand and laying beside her?
To some people, yes. Like, beside her, it's beside. It's like laying on her. It's beside her. I just chose the wrong words to say.
But the jury did not see it that way.
I said, oh, he's guilty. Everybody said the same thing. They were like, he's guilty.
The verdict was guilty?
Yes. Just felt like it shouldn't be happening. It was unbelievable, so I was just stunned.
You know, I had a friend that said, hallelujah. And that really bothered me because that wasn't anything to cheer about. There's no justice here. Everybody loses.
You are a grandmother, and there are 2 kids left behind who had nothing to do with this.
Right, exactly.
But at the end of the day, this man was put on trial. The evidence was heard. He was convicted. So he is a killer in the eyes of the law.
You know, they're gonna do an appeal. I don't want to misspeak on this at all.
When you say they're doing an appeal, what do you mean? Are you protecting him?
I don't have any reason to protect him, but I'm gonna let things play out as they will.
Following this interview, I asked Cheryl if she had any interest in seeing the evidence.
You said you did. You asked if we could show it to you. We provided you with what was in the public record.
Yeah.
What do you now believe?
Well, I now believe that he did kill her. Reading the evidence, going through what was said during the trial, it made it painfully obvious.
On March 10th, 2023, Cheryl McGuckin took the stand again at Jason's sentencing hearing. But this time, she spoke for her daughter.
I couldn't understand how my son-in-law Jason could look me in the eye for 5.5 years if he had murdered my daughter.
Our cameras were again outside the courtroom looking in, so Cheryl shared with us what she said directly to Jason.
Jason, if not you, who? You were there. You know the truth. I pray you will someday find wisdom and strength to speak the truth.
She said that in front of her grandchildren, too. They were sitting in the very front row. Cheryl didn't know that Jason's parents were going to bring them. As the judge prepared to sentence Jason Crawford, his lawyers were still pleading his innocence, just as Jason did when I first spoke with him.
If I could interview Tiffany today, what do you think she'd tell me?
Probably that she's sorry and she's didn't realize that it would affect so many people like it did.
She wouldn't tell me that you're a liar and a killer.
No, I don't think so.
Jason was sentenced to 99 years in prison. But under Alabama law, he'll be eligible for parole in 15 years.
What do you think Tiffany would say now, having seen you on the stand?
I can hear her saying, "I'm proud of you, Mama."
Now, Cheryl just wants to make sure that her grandchildren are proud of their mother and never forget who Tiffany was and what she stood for.
She was just an angel that came down from heaven for a short time to teach all of us how to love and be kind and be giving.
A rising star pro racer is shot. A suspect disappears.
You have to be smarter than a lot of people to get away with it.
Leading U.S. Marshals on a winding international manhunt.
The pressure's on.
Pressure's on.
The race to get justice. 48 hours, next on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus.
People are so much more than how they're trying to survive in this world. I wasn't making ends meet, so I made the decision to post nude photos of myself on the internet to make more money. And I was definitely concerned about the risks of being so exposed on the internet, and you never know what's gonna happen. Sometimes I think about Cat West and I think about where she would be today and how much more of her life she could have fulfilled.
I started getting Facebook messages that a murder had happened in Calera. You know, a beautiful woman, nude in a street in a nice subdivision. That is what doesn't happen every day around here, and that's what drove the story. Cat West, she was 42, was found dead on January 13th, 2018. She was a beautiful woman. She looked a little bit like Marilyn Monroe.
Female in the roadway, naked, CPR no longer in progress, female not breathing.
You believe it was murder?
I do.
It's a mysterious murder case of a married mom found dead outside her home.
We didn't know much about Cat West at all, and we certainly didn't know that her husband Jeff was a suspect.
Jeff could not have possibly done it. I believe Cat was murdered, but I do not believe that it was by her husband.
It really turned out that Cat was a lot more than just a wife and a stay-at-home mom.
Cat was the very out there, exuberant, lively. She was the limelight of everything that we did.
Cat West was posting pictures on OnlyFans, which is a website where people pay a subscription to see racy photos. It's sort of the happy medium between porn and the Brady Bunch.
She had several hundred followers.
Everybody was a suspect to begin with.
One of her subscribers, did they come through with rage or jealousy or wanting something that they couldn't have?
We were concerned that do we have somebody out there that's actually killing people?
Had you heard of OnlyFans?
No, ma'am. There's a lot of things I learned in this case.
One look at her online presence made it clear. Kathleen West put the social in social media.
It was out there for the whole world to see.
And friends like Brittany Dreisler say Kat was very extroverted. In the real world, she was always the life of the party as well.
Kat would get on stages and sing. She couldn't sing for the life of her, but she would sing.
Kat was proud of who she was.
So on January 13th, 2018, when the 42-year-old wife and mother, widely known as Kat, was found dead in the street near her Alabama home, veteran reporter and CBS consultant Carol Robinson smelled a story. In the tight-knit Birmingham suburbs, she's known as the Coco Chanel of crime.
I don't let what I cover dictate what I wear.
She later arrived at the scene and started hunting to see if Kat's past could help explain her death.
She loved to be outside. That was her big deal. She had a swing set.
Kat's parents, Nancy and John Martin, say as a kid in Florida, she doted on her dolls. And did she want to be a mom someday?
Absolutely. Yes.
When she got a little bit older, she wanted to do modeling.
What was the obsession with Marilyn Monroe?
She kind of looked like her, she says. She tried to recreate some of her photos, her hairdos. She loved her.
She was obsessed with Marilyn Monroe and was trying to emulate her in every way.
As Carol Robinson retraced the lines of Kat's life,
there were always self-esteem issues there.
She realized her resemblance to the troubled movie star was more than skin deep.
She craved adulation from some people, whether she knew them or not.
You tell her she's beautiful, she says, "You're just my mom and dad."
As time went on, Kat's parents say her feelings of isolation, self-doubt, and depression spiraled out of control.
I don't know how many different places we took her to.
She went to a lot of counseling.
It was a tough few years. Her parents say she was battling bipolar disorder and drinking too much. But by 2004, the broken pieces of Kat's life finally began to fall into place. It happened at a Super Bowl party.
And that's where she met Jeff.
Kat struck up a conversation with a local Army recruiter named Jeff West.
They fell in love on their first date.
It was really love at first sight.
Yes, it was.
Within the year, they were married in Las Vegas.
They moved around the country for Jeff's job, and in 2005, they had a daughter, Lola.
Lola was her light. Lola was her gift, and she adored her daughter.
In 2011, the West family moved to Southern California, where Army veteran Brittany Dreisler's husband was thinking of enlisting. At the recruiting station, Brittany says Jeff West basically had her husband at hello. What was your impression of him?
He was just super reassuring and nice. He was just nice.
So nice, she says, that he even invited the Dreislers to his home. His wife, Kat, answered the door.
She was just in her tank top and shorts and really happy, bubbly, and hey, girl! Right off the bat, she was like, "You want a drink?"
Brittany says as far as she could tell, Kat and Jeff West were a happy, if somewhat unlikely, couple.
Seeing how Kat carried herself and what she looked like, and then seeing Jeff, I know opposites attract, but I was like, that guy pulled that girl? You know, it never really made sense to me until I started getting to know them more.
You would not describe this as a conventional marriage.
Definitely not.
When it came to the unspoken rules of entertaining, she admits Kat was so colorful that she sometimes colored outside the lines.
She would jump from the kitchen counter to the sofa and shirtless, braless.
Wait, in front of you and your husband?
Yes, my husband would go, oh my gosh.
The couples hung out at home, but also started going to bars and clubs.
She'd be lively, animated. He would just be sitting on the couch, relaxing, having his drink.
Did you ever see the two of them fight?
Kat would fight. Jeff would not. Kat would get emotional. When she was drunk, she would get loud. She would get feisty. But he would sit there and just say, okay, boo-boo. Okay, I love you. All right, baby girl.
You never saw an ounce of jealousy from him?
Never. Never.
That surprised me because I don't think many men would feel that way.
Carol says Jeff was proud of having an attractive wife. In 2014, the Wests had moved to Alabama, where he had a job as a campus police officer. The couple always made time to be together with a regular date night, including on the night of January 12, 2018. Jeff's parents had then 12-year-old Lola for the evening.
They go out to a restaurant, they have some drinks and dinner.
After dinner, they stopped at a liquor store. Security cameras show the couple shopping, apparently without a care in the world.
Everything seemed fine. At one point, he even patted her on the butt.
But it would be the last time Kat West would be seen alive.
I just was shocked, baffled. I don't believe it.
When Brittany Dreisler learned of Kat's death, she immediately contacted Jeff West.
What happened? How did this happen? And his answer was just, I don't know.
Neither did Makorsha Purifoy.
It was dark, it was cold. I wasn't sure, what I was seeing.
She'd been driving to work before dawn that day when she spotted something.
I think I see a person laying in the road. Well, halfway.
Makorsha went home to get her parents. They returned to the scene.
Her body was frozen, frozen. I was traumatized. I was just in the car crying.
Makorsha's mother called 911.
They asked to see if she was breathing or not. She wasn't. And we just waited for the police to get there.
Calera Police Sergeant Mike Melhoff, a veteran criminal investigator, arrived about 30 minutes later.
Looking at the scene, Kathleen's head is laying in the road. Her body is actually laying in the grass.
And there was something else he noticed right away.
It did appear that the body had been moved more than once.
Kat West was found lying in a pool of blood across the street from her house. Melhoff noticed there was another blood pool nearby. Next to Kat's body, her cell phone and an open bottle of absinthe liquor, the kind she and her husband had been seen purchasing the night before.
The absinthe bottle, it was just propped up on the phone just like that. It just did not seem right that it would have landed in such a way other than being staged.
Carol Robinson, who saw the crime scene photos, also thought it looked staged.
That bottle was placed on the phone.
By somebody.
By somebody.
She says there was somebody at the scene whose behavior caught authorities' attention.
Jeff West, standing in the doorway. At one point, he was on the porch, smoking a cigarette and watching.
And when Melhoff spoke to Jeff inside,
his behavior was not what I expected it to be, knowing that his wife was outside.
What was your reaction to it?
It was, everybody grieves in a different way, and that was something I kept telling myself.
Kat had a roughly 2-inch gash on the left side of her head. The cause of death was blunt force trauma.
The injury that she suffered was enough to actually fracture the skull.
The autopsy showed signs of sex, but there was no indication of sexual assault. Also, her blood alcohol level was nearly 3 times the legal limit. Still, the medical examiner could not say exactly how Kat sustained the injury.
The manner of death was undetermined.
Was it an accident? Was Kat so intoxicated that she fell and cracked her head? Or was it murder? And if so, who killed Kat West? While authorities searched the neighborhood for clues and witnesses, Jeff went to headquarters. Police say he stayed for about 6 hours.
Was Jeff cooperative?
Absolutely.
Jeff was adamant with police. He had no idea what had happened to Kat. He speculated she may have died by accident. He also said their marriage was in a good place. Police later discovered what the couple's friends already knew.
I think it would be fair to characterize her as an exhibitionist. She enjoyed the attention.
Jeff revealed he would actually photograph Kat and help her post suggestive photos online, where hundreds of paying subscribers knew her as Kitty Cat West.
She was very out loud about it. She was making money.
But Brittany says for Kat, it was about a lot more than money.
Kat, when not behind the website, was not always confident. Yes, you have your husband, but you always want to be pretty to others.
And remarkably, Jeff seemed to love it.
Jeff got the best of both worlds. He was able to be with his wife. She got what she wanted, which was, I get to make my money, I get to show off what I have, and he's not going to leave me.
Brittany says by 2018, Kat's online activity had really ramped up. She'd been using that subscription-only website, OnlyFans, to share adult photos and videos.
She was starting to get knee-deep in that type of industry.
And with OnlyFans came a new feature for Kat. Providers and subscribers could communicate. Subscribers could also make requests.
Had you heard of OnlyFans?
No, ma'am.
Melhoff was interested to learn that Jeff had photographed Kat for her site the night she died, and her page contained subscriber requests for personalized content. Could one of her OnlyFans subscribers have stalked and murdered her?
Do we have somebody else out there that's actually killing people?
He says they knew they had to cast a wider net, so they sent Jeff home. Melhoff says they spent about 3 weeks looking for other suspects.
There were thousands of names that had to be culled through in order to properly investigate this.
As police continued gathering evidence, Carol Robinson says they had more public involvement than they wanted. Kat's death had set the internet on fire.
You had this huge online presence, these murder discussion Facebook groups. While they may have started in Calera, there were people from all over, and they aren't quiet about their opinions.
It seemed everyone had an opinion on the way Kat died.
It's the husband. I vote stalker. It might have been a freak accident.
And the way she lived.
I don't agree with her lifestyle. She brought this on herself. She was proud to have such an amazing figure. Good for her. She was a sympathetic victim to many. She was an unsympathetic victim to many.
On Facebook, Jeff later made it clear that all the online chatter had taken a toll on the family. To the public, our tragedy is juicy gossip, he wrote.
The Facebook thing was really intruding on their lives, in his opinion.
Investigators had formed their own opinion. Kat's death had been no accident. And on February 22nd, 2018, they made their move.
William Jeffrey West, the victim's husband, has been arrested and charged with the murder.
Bail was set at $500,000. Brittany Dreisler says Jeff should never have been arrested, firmly believing that police failed to fully investigate the hundreds of OnlyFans subscribers who had paid to see the racy content Kat posted.
Did someone else kill her?
Some see it as unseemly. Others call it harmless fun. Stay at home. Either way, the online venue where Kat West posted her racy photos, known as OnlyFans.
Welcome to OnlyFans.
Is a lot more than only a website, says Carol Robinson.
It's sort of the happy medium between porn and the Brady Bunch.
Whether you're a blogger, celebrity, model, whatever, you can reward your loyal fans with even more of the great content you already produce, but get paid for it.
Since COVID-19 caused widespread lockdowns, OnlyFans has become a provocative and profitable platform for celebrities. Former Disney star Bella Thorne reportedly made $1 million in one day posting lifestyle content.
There's a lot of myself in this video, yeah, so.
And the site has become an exotic destination for more salacious staycationers as well. A place to dream of living large and potentially to make a good living in the process.
I'm really excited to introduce you to Courtney Tilia.
The former teacher in this YouTube video told a reporter she quadrupled her income posting nudes on OnlyFans.
I wear things that allow me to feel sexy because when I feel sexy, I feel powerful.
This woman says she's paying her way through a neuroscience master's program.
Amen.
And this pastor made headlines when she left the pulpit. Not for a higher calling, but she did eventually make a higher paycheck.
Can I get a hallelujah and an amen?
Posting on OnlyFans and now reportedly earning tens of thousands of dollars a month. By the end of 2020, the London-based site had grown to more than 1 million content providers and 90 million subscribers.
Does it surprise you at all to hear that as soon as the pandemic hit, OnlyFans, the popularity and the usage of it jumped by 75%?
Not at all.
In 2015, Lauren Quay moved to New York from her home in West Virginia with dreams of making it big on Broadway.
I really wanted to make something of myself.
Soon frustrated with the rat race, the 23-year-old daughter of a doctor and nurse began studying emergency medicine and became a paramedic around the time the pandemic began.
I knew that there was a job that needed to be done.
Almost immediately, she found herself treating and transporting critically ill COVID patients, working at the intersection of life and death.
I still remember taking patients away whose family members couldn't come with us. They didn't know if it was going to be the last time they saw each other. That was really rough for me.
Rougher still, she says, because even though she was saving lives, it was impossible to save any money. She was making only about $40,000 a year, less than other first responders like many New York police and firefighters.
Is what you were getting paid enough to cover your monthly nut?
No, not at all. It wasn't feasible to live off of that salary.
As her bills piled up and employment options dwindled, Lauren turned to OnlyFans.
I don't have to go outside of my house. This could be an easy business.
Using an alias, she started by posting lingerie pics, cropping out her face. But she says she soon stopped cropping. And before long, the paramedic who by day was covering every inch of her body in protective clothing started taking it all off online.
Did you post full nude shots?
Yes, I did.
And she says if Kat West was proud to be on OnlyFans, she would have had reason to be.
The human body, I believe it should be celebrated.
And how did it make you feel when you were posting?
I felt empowered. I did not feel like I was degrading myself.
And just to be clear, this was money you were using to put food on your table?
100%.
But Lauren admits she was worried about the exposure.
It was scary to think that, I'd be taking pictures of myself that would be on the internet.
Especially as her pool of OnlyFans subscribers started to grow. She says some of the requests for personalized content were disrespectful.
There are some really weird people on the internet.
Did you ever consider that maybe someone from her online life could have played a role in what happened to her that night?
We looked into that, and there just wasn't that evidence out there.
No evidence that an OnlyFans online user was involved in Kat West's death. What the evidence does show, says Jeff's attorney John Robbins, is that Kat wasn't murdered.
She fell and hit her head.
Jeff's parents, Jerry and Susie, agree. They aren't sure exactly how Kat hit her head, and they don't think authorities can prove it either.
They set out to get Jeff. There was no investigation.
I know he's innocent.
And I don't care what anybody says. He did not do this.
Jeff's parents say he was incapable of harming his family. Now, that is exactly what you would expect to hear from the parents of an accused killer. But you would probably not expect to hear the same thing from the parents of the alleged victim.
He's honorable, and he loves my daughter. I know he didn't do it.
He didn't do this.
Kat's parents, John and Nancy, say their daughter was conspicuously clumsy, and the drinking did not help. Brittany Dreisler concedes anything is possible.
She could have ran outside in the street, right? Because she was so intoxicated.
Authorities insist Jeff West is a murderer, but their tactics suggest otherwise. John Robbins says just a few months before trial, the prosecution offered Jeff West a deal. It's called an Alford plea. Jeff would not have to admit that he had committed a crime, but he would have to acknowledge that the state had enough evidence to likely convict. Now, if the judge accepted that deal, it means that Jeff would be let off with time served and only 2 years probation. He could walk out of jail almost immediately.
What does it tell you as a defense attorney when the prosecution is offering a deal?
That tells you, as a defense lawyer, the prosecution has some problems with their case, and they recognize that.
According to Shelby County prosecutors, plea deals are standard in every case. Robbins says he told Jeff it was a reasonable offer.
He rejected it immediately.
Why did he reject the offer?
Because he says, I cannot say that I'm guilty of something that I didn't do.
Jeff West decides to roll the dice and take his chances in court.
He understands the risk of going to trial.
For more than 2 years, Jeff West has awaited trial in custody.
We weren't getting a lot of information at the time. The police were holding things close to their vest.
Defense attorney John Robbins believes prosecutors have problems with their case. He says the Friday before trial, they called him with more talk of a plea deal.
We discussed what would it take to settle the case.
But they could not come to terms. The prosecution has also notified the court it will make a new filing of evidence, text messages between Jeff and Kat.
It was very apparent that it was a very volatile relationship.
Prosecutors will tell the jury that the Wests did not have a harmonious marriage. You're throwing almost 14 years of a relationship away, she'd written a week before she died. You don't want me? Fine, someone will. I always want you, he'd replied. The texts went from erratic to erotic so fast that Robbins actually wants to use them to defend Jeff.
Anytime Kat said something that, quote, can be considered an argument, his response is, I love you, I want you, you're sexy.
Today is the first day of the murder trial against Jeff West in the murder of Kat West.
The judge banned news cameras from the courtroom, but we were at the courthouse taking notes, and it soon became clear there were at least two things the defense and prosecution agreed on: the cause of death, blunt force trauma, and how the night began. Jeff and Kat had started drinking at dinner and bought more booze on the way home. It was later that Kat apparently had changed into lingerie and asked Jeff to photograph her for her online fans. On Instagram that night, he posted this picture of the absinthe liquor bottle. Authorities contend he would bludgeon her to death with that very same bottle. But why would Jeff West want to kill his wife?
I wouldn't want to speculate as to what drove him to that point, but I can certainly say that I feel that, yes, he's the one responsible for his wife's death.
At the scene, Melhoff says he found it odd that Jeff did not ask for details about his wife's condition.
I would have thought that he would have at least asked, can I see her?
Carol believes what Jeff did say made authorities suspicious, too.
According to Jeff, he went to bed about 10:30. Kat stayed up.
Now, that's Jeff's version of what happened.
But before long, Melhoff unearthed a different story on a health tracker app on Jeff's cell phone.
Well, the health app actually shows Jeff's phone moving as late as 10 minutes after 11 o'clock.
And Melhoff says he believes Jeff also lied about when he woke up that morning. Jeff told police his dogs got him up by barking at the cruisers out front, but a neighbor reported seeing Jeff before police arrived.
She could see a man in the house pacing back and forth.
Having laid out what they believed were Jeff's movements that night, police look at Kat's phone, which also had a health tracker app. It showed her phone had stopped moving 16 minutes before Jeff's. But what had actually caused Kat's fatal wound? About a month after her death, police got test results from that absinthe bottle. It had a sliver of glass chipped off, and there were 2 spots of Kat's blood on the bottom.
We had Jeff's fingerprints on it.
Wouldn't you expect that, given that they bought it together and they said they'd been drinking, that his prints would be on it?
Oh, absolutely.
But Melhoff says there was something specific about the prints that helped point the finger of blame at Jeff.
Basically, the bottle was held inverted, much like he'd be holding it like a club.
Jeff's thumbprint was found in a downward position on the bottle, and his ring fingerprint was found over here.
She was not hitting head with that bottle.
Robin says that's clear because Jeff is a righty, and the prints in the bottle were from his left hand, and there's a good reason they're upside down.
The bottle was in a bag. You would pull it out of the bag in the same way, where your thumbprint would be going down.
But to win this case, the defense will tell the jury that Jeff West could not have murdered his wife, because Kat wasn't murdered.
I've handled well over 100 murder cases. Never went forward on a murder case where the manner of death was classified as undetermined.
What happened that night to Kat West?
In a nutshell, she fell, she hit her head.
Robin says police found Jeff dressed in the same clothes as seen in the security video the night before.
There was nothing on his clothes. No liquor, no blood, no bodily fluid, no tissue, no hair, and there was no hair on the bottle. There's no glass in her wound.
And despite what police told us, no real effort, Robbins maintains, to consider other suspects or theories about Kat's death.
The only person they ever looked at was Jeff, and they really never looked at it whether it was an accident.
Was there ever a time when you or anyone in the police department looked into the possibility of it being an accident?
Absolutely not. I don't want to sit here and say that I immediately ruled out an accident, but just the head trauma alone, knowing that the body had been moved, it was very hard to try to look at this as an accident.
Not hard at all, insists Robbins. The 2 blood pools at the scene suggest that after Kat fell, she could have gotten up and fallen again.
Because it's clear that she moved around after she had that head injury.
John Robbins has whittled his entire case down to only one witness, a witness guaranteed to get the jury's attention. Kat's mother, Nancy Martin, takes the stand to tell the jury about her daughter's lifelong struggles.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it was. It really was.
Martin testified that she herself had witnessed Kat West in an intoxicated state go outside barefoot in any, whether it was hot or cold, she said. She would be in varying stages of dress.
Were you surprised at how supportive Kat's parents, particularly her mother, was of the man police say killed her daughter?
You know, I can't really recall another case where the mother of the victim and the father of the victim were so attached to the suspect.
Kat's parents are even giving Jeff legal advice. They help convince him not to testify.
Jeff's a good mood. He's fired up.
In closing arguments, Assistant District Attorney Daniel McBrayer finally ties together the state's theory of what happened that night and why. He says Jeff had lost his temper with his wife.
He had a problem with her drinking and her social media usage.
Prosecutors say the evidence from that night shows it. He had thrown her phone into the street and clubbed her to death with a liquor bottle when she went after it. And McBrayer says the way the bottle and phone were positioned convinced authorities it could not have been an accident.
There were those 2 items stacked perfectly together, right there on the street next to her body.
Jeff loved his wife.
Did you ever consider the possibility that this guy just snapped one night?
But there's no evidence of that. He does not have a history of violence.
The trial is ending when prosecutors make a last-minute move. They convince the judge to let the jury consider a lesser charge than murder, reckless manslaughter.
I think that we could see a verdict tonight.
This is the hard part. We're waiting. They were afraid that they were going to lose the case.
John Robbins says he wasn't happy about the last-minute lesser charge that prosecutors introduced. And it's easy to see why. It takes the jury less than 5 hours to convict Jeff West of reckless manslaughter.
Jeff is stunned.
Both sets of parents are also stunned by the verdict.
That was bull, and you know it.
I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't.
Almost 3 months later,
Judge Bill Bostic sentenced Jeff West to 16 years.
How did you react when you heard 16 years?
I just wanted to cry.
With credit for time served, Jeff will be behind bars for 13 more years. For the prosecutors, it's a kind of split decision.
Obviously, we would have preferred a murder verdict.
But they declare victory anyway.
And we're glad to get a sentence as we did.
For the defense, it is a stinging defeat. Jeff knows if he had accepted that plea deal from the prosecutors, he'd probably already be home.
In retrospect, that probably he should have taken the deal.
Both sets of parents stand behind his decision.
By a show of hands, who thinks Jeff is not guilty?
We all think he's not guilty.
We all think he's not guilty.
They sat down with us as a group 3 days after sentencing.
Who thinks that he got a fair trial?
Nobody.
No hands.
They believe the judge threw the book at Jeff West in sentencing for refusing to settle the case, and that from the moment Kat's death made news,
A double life.
An adult-themed subscription-based business.
she was harshly judged in the court of public opinion.
It was the fact that she was doing these things that small towns don't understand.
I think society is always going to be hard on women for anything that we do.
New York City paramedic Lauren Quay says for her, the harsh judgments did not start until a newspaper reporter contacted her out of the blue.
He said, somebody tipped the New York Post that you're a paramedic with an OnlyFans.
He told her he was investigating whether her OnlyFans page violated her employer's code of conduct.
And in that moment, I wanted to just like crawl in a hole and die.
Lauren says she canceled her OnlyFans account immediately. The expose, including her real name and where she lived and worked, began circulating a few weeks later.
I opened my Instagram and saw, 600 follow requests.
Were you afraid for your safety?
Absolutely.
What do you think would have happened if you had kept your OnlyFans website going after the article dropped?
Well, I think it definitely would have made a lot of money.
As it happens, she did anyway. Worried that Lauren might lose her job, a friend set up a GoFundMe page for her. Supporters contributed more than $100,000, but the private ambulance company she works for kept her on the clock.
It's always really hard to watch people pass away. Sometimes I think about Kat West and I think about where she would be today.
Sucks that she was taken so early.
Kat's friend Brittany Dreisler is living with loss too.
She's gone. That's heart-wrenching. They have a daughter that's in the mix of everything.
I think people forget that a child is involved.
Right.
Every week, Lola goes with all her grandparents to see Jeff.
Are the four of you sticking together just for the sake of Lola?
No. No. They're family.
But even when Jeff West does get out of prison, this will always be a family with someone missing.
In an honest light, how would you like her to be remembered?
Kind, caring.
Kind, caring person who loved her husband and loved her daughter very much.
"48 hours to miss it would be a crime."
Were you at all prepared for what happened in this case?
We went to Gatlinburg and got married. There was a creek, it was really pretty, but it was just us. We were in casual clothes. It was definitely a happy day. We had a friendship, just your normal honeymoon phase marriage.
How would you describe Hunter Grissom?
He was fun, and he was attractive. We had some really good times until I started noticing different things that were changing. He started becoming more aggressive.
Ever hit you?
Not to begin with. In September 2010 is the first time that he physically hit me. It got progressively worse. He had made the comments that if I told anybody, he would kill me. I believed him.
What's your first thought when you look back on May 15th, 2012?
I wish I had kept driving.
Grissom stated that she shot her ex-husband until the gun was empty and then called 911.
Where is he? He was on the ground. I just pulled up. I saw him and I pulled up and I shot him. I can't take it no more. I can't do this no more.
He's walking towards you.
Yes.
Where were his arms? What was he doing?
He had his arm like he was gonna bust through the window. And it happened so fast.
He just stared at me thinking and he flipped me off. And I just put him there and shot him. I just shot you.
You don't regret pulling the trigger?
No, because if I had not done that, I'd be dead. And I believe that 100%.
We all knew she was capable of doing this. She hunted him down. She hunted him down.
My son died running for his life. I know that there's no telling what went through his mind, but I hear him say, "Mama, Mama."
People who think that I murdered him in cold blood either don't know the whole story or don't know everything that's happened.
She has a way of making everything that she has done look right.
I'm not somebody that's mean and who would maliciously kill somebody intentionally. And that's what a murderer is. And that's not me.
I'm Erin Moriarty. Tonight on 48 Hours, The Girl Next Door. What went through your mind when you saw him on the ground?
That I was in trouble.
You'd never been in trouble before in your life.
No.
Tracy Grissom says that when she shot her ex-husband Hunter at the Binion Creek boat landing in Northport, Alabama, she feared for her life. A fear, she says, she'd felt many times before.
I never thought I'd kill him. I always thought he'd kill me. Somebody kill me.
He had hurt me. He had done a lot of things to me. I didn't want him dead. I still don't want him dead.
Tracy, a 32-year-old mother of two, says it was self-defense. The state says it was murder. She met Hunter Grissom back in 2003. Tracy was just 21, a young mother to son James Michael, and going through a divorce.
He absolutely loved my son. That, to me, made all the difference in the world.
Melanie Garner, Hunter's mom, remembers it as love at first sight.
He was sucked in immediately.
But Hunter was 2 years younger than Tracy, and when the couple eloped in 2004, Melanie felt it was too soon.
He was young. He had just turned 20. Certainly nowhere near ready.
8 months later, the marriage was in trouble.
I had caught him smoking marijuana. Doing illegal things could cause a problem, and I couldn't risk losing my son over.
After threatening him with divorce, Tracy says Hunter promised to stop using marijuana, and their relationship improved. So much that Tracy leveraged everything she owned so they could start a business together.
I took out an equity line to start a company, which was Grissom Construction. It was all in my name.
And they had a child of their own, Anna Grace.
We tried to have a child for quite some time. We actually had 5 miscarriages before we had her. She was premature. Her heart and lungs were not developed.
It was a stressful time.
A very stressful time.
What's more, she says, Hunter appeared to be acting strangely, so Tracy, a registered nurse, says she gave him an over-the-counter drug test.
It showed marijuana, Oxycontin, opiates, methamphetamines. I then realized that his addiction obviously was way past what I'd ever dreamed that it was.
Tracy filed for divorce in the summer of 2010, and over time, she says, Hunter became abusive.
He knocked me to the floor and hit me all over my body. I ended up with a black eye, I had bruised shoulders.
Even after Hunter moved out, their divorce agreement allowed him access to the house. So Tracy says the beatings continued, although no one witnessed them, and Tracy never reported them.
You could have gone to the police. This man's hitting me.
I was told if I went to the police, he would kill me. And so that, to me, wasn't even an option.
I started to notice some things that I would question her about, bruising and things like that.
Tracy's friend, Lauren Richards, was concerned when she saw that Tracy had a black eye and confronted her.
I said, now, Tracy, you may have some bad luck, but nobody is that unlucky. Do not give me a lame excuse. What happened? You have not fallen on a baseball in your eye socket.
And then, on the night of November 22nd, 2010, when Hunter arrived to take care of the children, Tracy says he flew into a rage when she told him she had spent the night with a new boyfriend.
He told me that he was going to kill me.
Tracy says that at around 10 o'clock that night, Hunter took her to the bedroom, bound her legs, raped her, and then threw her against the bathtub.
I was knocked unconscious.
Tracy says she regained consciousness around 4 a.m. The kids were asleep downstairs, and Hunter was gone.
I called Hunter. I told him that I was bleeding and that I was hurt and that I needed help. And he told me, I hope you die.
When Tracy went to the hospital, police were notified, and Hunter was later arrested for rape, sodomy, kidnapping, and domestic violence.
And at that point, I feared for my life, and I feared for my children's life.
Hunter was allowed out on bail, so Tracy got a restraining order against him, purchased a handgun, and carried it with her everywhere.
It was only a matter of time until he came after us.
Tracy took these photos the night of the alleged attack and texted them to Lauren Richards. Later, both she and Tracy took more. At the same time, Tracy says Hunter stopped paying spousal support and his daughter's expenses.
I lost everything, and my world just fell apart.
Tracy says she was told that Hunter wasn't working, but she didn't believe it. And that's what led to the fateful morning of May 15, 2012.
This is about the same time you were on the road, isn't it?
It is. Well,
Tracy got behind the wheel again and took us for the drive that changed her life.
So you're coming down here. This is the way you would go.
Yes.
And what do you see?
Tracy says she was on her way to an interview for a nursing job when she became distracted.
There's a break in the trees, and to the right side was a large tool boat that had a billboard sign on the side that said Grissom Construction. And I immediately, within about a 30-second period, made probably the stupidest mistake of my life. And that was to pull in the parking lot to take a picture.
A photo to show that Grissom Construction was indeed up and running.
I was getting ready to take the picture, and when I looked up, he was standing almost directly towards the front of the boat trailer. He was looking back directly at me. He had this face that's like this mean, just, I don't even know how to describe it, but I mean, I see it over and over like it's right here all the time. He flipped me a bird, which to me was kind of like, yeah, I'm working, you know, screw you. And at that point, I panicked.
He's walking towards you.
Yes. He's now within 5 foot of my car, coming out of my car, gonna bust my window out.
In her lap was the gun she bought 18 months earlier.
I mean, I just opened the door.
Tracy stepped out of the car and began shooting.
The next thing I remember is a click.
Tracy had emptied her entire gun, 6 shots. 4 of the shots hit Hunter and brought him face down on the pavement.
Your name is Tracy?
Yeah.
Okay, you killed your husband?
Ex-husband, yes.
Ex-husband. How did you kill him?
I shot him.
You have the gun?
I got the gun.
What kind of gun do you have?
I couldn't take it no more.
Okay, calm down.
I couldn't take it no more.
Okay, calm down.
Tracy Grissom was not the first person to call 911 the morning Hunter Grissom was killed.
My boss just got shot. Somebody just pulled up and shot my boss. She's in a little gold Chevrolet. I don't know if she's reloading or what.
As it turns out, there were witnesses to what happened on the dock that day.
What is your name?
William Dockery.
William Dockery and his brother Dale both worked for Hunter, building docks on Lake Tuscaloosa.
He was a good friend, the best boss anybody could ever ask for. It's the only job I've had in my life that I enjoyed going to work every day, enjoyed the man I was working for.
The 3 men were getting a boat out of the water onto a trailer when Dale first noticed that gold Chevrolet and then saw it move directly behind Hunter's truck.
The car obviously wasn't in park because they had to hit the brakes again.
Will didn't realize the driver was Hunter's ex-wife, but he saw the look on his boss's face.
There was some fear in his eyes. He knew there was fixing to be some kind of confrontation. He looked directly at me and told me to call the police.
Just as Will was pulling his phone out of his pocket,
He looked at me with an even more serious face and said, "Call the effing law." And that's when I went ahead and started dialing. And by that time, she was getting out and starting to shoot.
Hunter started running. Him and my brother took off running.
Dale ran toward the water, hiding in a boat. When he looked back, Hunter was on the ground. Moments later, Will finally managed to hit send on his 911 call.
She's still sitting in the car with a gun. I don't want to go around.
Okay, you stay where you are, and we're getting help on the way for him, okay?
I don't want him to die. He's got a little girl and all.
You do see the cops coming?
I hear some sirens now.
You hear
I don't
sirens?
see anybody yet, but I hear some sirens.
Finally, in a poignant moment caught on a police car dash cam, the brothers were reunited, just feet away from Hunter's lifeless body. Tracy was yards away on her own 911 call.
I just pulled up. I saw him and I pulled up and I shot him. I just pulled up and I shot him.
If you remember, Tracy told me Hunter made an obscene gesture and was moving toward her car.
Hunter was coming towards my vehicle in an aggressive manner and was within 3 to 5 foot of me.
But Tracy doesn't tell the 911 operator Hunter was coming toward her, and she never says it to investigators hours later.
I don't know what happened. I don't know why I did it.
He never made a single motion towards her, never raised his hand, any of that. The only motion he was making was getting away from her.
Hunter's mom believes the Dockery brothers' version of events and says the crime scene report proves it.
12 feet. 12 feet from the first shot to where Hunter stood, and there was blood at that first point. 12 feet.
Is it possible that he was coming after her, that he was going to hit her? Is that at all possible?
I don't see how he could hit her at 12 feet.
What's more, if Tracy was trying to get a photograph of the Grissom construction sign, why would she pull behind it? Shortly after Hunter was shot to death, the sheriff's department came to Melanie Garner's office to inform her in person.
I immediately started saying, I said, the bitch did it, the bitch did it, the bitch did it.
That's shocking. But Hunter's mother believes her former daughter-in-law is dangerous.
Borderline demonic. I mean, I absolutely believe that she is that troubled.
And Hunter's aunt, Gina Prissock, says Tracy had a motive. She wanted to kill him before the rape case went to court.
Hunter had moved on. There was some court dates coming up that would prove that Hunter was innocent. There was court dates coming up that he would get visitation to his daughter. She had a lot to lose.
I know that's a hard question to ask of a mom. Is it at all possible that your son abused Tracy?
Oh, I don't believe so. I don't believe so for a minute.
He did not have an abusive and angry bone in his body. In fact, we kind of laughed at him because he was too laid back.
In 2011, Hunter was arrested for marijuana possession, a misdemeanor, but there is no evidence he ever did harder drugs. What's more, his mother says if anyone was abused, it was Hunter.
And I fully believe that Hunter was abused by her.
Yes.
Just weeks before the alleged rape, Tracy turned up at one of Hunter's job sites.
She's screaming, jumping on him. He said something about him having another girlfriend and used the expression about, you are mine, I'll kill you, you are mine.
Melanie believes Tracy's rape accusation is completely false. But then, what about those graphic pictures of Tracy with deep bruises and that head wound? Hunter told his mother the cut on Tracy's head was a result of an accidental fall.
You're saying your son didn't do any of that?
I don't think he did.
But that would mean she would have had to do that to herself.
Absolutely.
But why would she do that damage to herself?
To try to prove the lies, to try to prove the accusations that she made against Hunter were true.
So was Tracy Grissom a liar who killed in cold blood? Or a domestic abuse victim and loving mother? It will be 12 strangers, a jury, who will decide. It was early August 2014, just over 2 years since Hunter Grissom had been gunned down by his ex-wife Tracy. And her trial was finally about to begin, a moment that Hunter's mother, Melanie, had been dreading.
I knew that it was going to be hard. You know, I even referenced to some people, some friends, that I thought the trial would be worse than death. And to some degree, it was.
Walking into the courtroom was tough.
Tracy's brother, Travis, flew in from LA to sit on the defendant's side of the courtroom.
To sit down and see a court divided, a family divided, a family that had spent time together, shared grandkids.
These photos taken by the Tuscaloosa News are all we have of the trial. TV cameras were not allowed inside.
Going to trial, it's an honor to represent her.
Even as the trial began, Tracy's defense attorney, Warren Freeman, was hoping the prosecutor or judge would reduce the murder charge to manslaughter.
In my mind, this was a manslaughter case.
Why?
Because there's no intent. I could easily see this being, at the worst, manslaughter. At its best, it was self-defense.
But the charge would stand, and the jury would have to decide whether Tracy was guilty of murder or whether she was just defending herself. Warren Freeman hoped to support her defense case by showing the jury those dramatic photos.
And I explained then, I'm not trying to try a rape case, Judge. I simply need to demonstrate to a jury what my client's state of mind was at the time of the offense.
But the judge would not allow it. Covering the trial for the Tuscaloosa News, Stephanie Taylor says the state argued the motive was money.
The prosecutors claimed that Tracy shot Hunter to collect a $103,000 insurance policy that she had on him.
Thank you for calling MetLife. This is Pam. May I please have your name?
Tracy Grissom.
The evidence? this recording of Tracy's call to the life insurance company, a call she made on May 14, 2012, the day before she shot Hunter.
They said that she was angry that he had stopped making payments that they had agreed to in their divorce.
It's Hunter Grissom.
Thank you so much. And can you please verify his date of birth?
A representative from the insurance company testified during the trial that Tracy called the day before Hunter was killed to verify that they had her correct address.
Is there anything else I can do for you today?
That's going to be it.
On May 14th, you called that insurance company. Why?
Well, May 14th was just like any other day. However, I had moved 4 different times. Me and my children were running. We were running from Hunter. So I had called the company to let them know that they had my old address and to make an address change.
She also called a few weeks afterward to inform them that he had died.
And how can I help you today?
Well, I was actually calling because I didn't know what I needed to do. Hunter passed away May 15th, and I actually am going through a court case right now because it was due to self-defense.
Even through the times when she's screaming that she's destitute and has no money, she continued to pay life insurance premiums.
I really thought that that was just the prosecution pulling at straws to have a motive. And my sister's smart, but I don't think my sister concocted a story just so she could get insurance money. But that's all they had.
But that wasn't all they had. Prosecutors also called a pathologist who testified that Hunter's wounds indicated that when Tracy shot him, he was not coming at her, he was running away.
Tracy, I have to ask you this. Is it possible that you misread that situation and you shot and killed a man who just intended to get away from you?
He was coming towards me. So no, I do not feel like he was trying to get away. I feel like he was fixing to kill me.
If in fact he was coming at you and you were in fear for your life, why didn't you tell the police that? You had an opportunity when you called 911.
Tell me what happened. I just pulled up, I saw him, and I shot him.
You had an opportunity when you left the scene and went to the police.
I don't know why I did it.
Why didn't you tell them? He was coming after me. I had no choice.
I know I was an absolute wreck at that point. I don't remember so much. I remember the initial shot, and then I remember a click, which undoubtedly was the emptying of the gun.
Still, Warren did get the pathologist to admit that it was also possible Hunter was coming towards Tracy when she started shooting.
Think about this just a moment. You had a shot here, and then you had another shot here, and then 2 that were in the back. But what made sense to me, and he said this would line up with his findings, was that somebody could have been coming forward, then turned after the first shot was fired.
If it was not her intentions to murder Hunter, and the first bullet hit his arm, couldn't she have stopped then? What about the second bullet that entered his back? Couldn't she have stopped then? 6 were fired, 4 hit Hunter.
How many times did you shoot?
Until it would shoot no more.
She unloaded the gun. In interrogation, she said she fired till it wouldn't fire anymore.
Freeman claims that Tracy shot Hunter because she was suffering from post-traumatic stress from earlier abuse, but he couldn't find an expert who would say that in court. So now, there was really only one way to get jurors to understand why Tracy pulled the trigger. Tracy had to take the stand and tell them herself.
That was the only way to let them know that I was defending myself. And the only way that I felt that they would understand what I was going through that day.
Tracy was allowed to tell the jury about the alleged rape and that she lived in fear of Hunter, but she could not show those graphic photos.
How did you feel about that?
Devastated. I don't think anybody could understand what I was going through without knowing what I had already been through.
Tracy's trial lasted only 2 days, and then, just before the case went to the jury, the judge made a stunning reversal.
The judge said that he believed that this was a manslaughter case.
Out of the blue?
Out of the blue.
If both sides could agree, the judge would let the jury consider a charge of manslaughter. When the prosecution agreed, it was then up to Tracy.
It was my decision, and I felt good about what had been said and what had been told in court. And I still didn't feel like I'd done anything wrong, and I still didn't feel like I would be convicted of murder.
She said, "Do you think they'll convict me of manslaughter if we do that?" I said, "Yes." And she said, "I don't want to do it."
And so I chose not to take it.
And I understood her reasons.
That's a big gamble, though, Warren. Big gamble.
It's a huge gamble.
As Tracy Grissom waited to hear her fate, she remained optimistic that the jury would see it her way and would not convict her of murdering Hunter Grissom.
I did think the jury would understand the fear that I had that day and the fear that I had of that he was going to hurt or kill me. I feel like they know that there was more to the story, but it wasn't allowed in court.
You thinking there's going to be a hung jury in this case?
At least. I think that's what Tracy felt, that the worst that's going to happen here is a hung jury.
But just 90 minutes later, they get word. The jury had reached a verdict.
I was standing between my brother, Hunter's dad, and my nephew, and we were holding hands.
I remember that they didn't look at us.
Not a good sign.
It's not a good sign.
Who read the verdict?
The judge did. He said guilty of murder. And I immediately was devastated.
Tracy's gamble to not give the jurors the lesser option of manslaughter had failed.
She just hung her head. She was picturing that little 5-year-old girl of hers that would look at her and grab her face, she said, and say, "Mama, when are you coming home?"
Another mother, Hunter Grissom's, forced herself to stay calm.
We were told that we had to maintain our composure even through that. So that was kind of hard to suppress those feelings.
But just moments later, the judge threw a curveball that took everyone in the court by surprise.
The judge did not revoke my bond. In fact, he didn't even raise my bond. And I was able to walk out of court that day, get in my truck and go home.
Tracy, now a convicted killer, would be allowed out until she was sentenced. And the surprises didn't end there.
The day after the trial, a juror calls me, and she's very upset.
Basing this decision off of what you heard.
After the trial, one of the jurors, Janice Kelly, read newspaper accounts of the rape allegations Tracy made against Hunter. She told Warren she never would have convicted Tracy had she seen those graphic photos.
Two sides to every story. We didn't know why she was so scared of this man.
You feel you made a mistake?
Yeah, I feel I made a mistake. And if I had to do over again, it'd be a whole jury.
But at sentencing, with no jury in the room, the judge will allow Tracy's attorney to introduce those graphic pictures of her injuries. Warren hopes it will convince the judge to be lenient.
He knows that she was raped. He knows the brutality that she went through. And I'll be asking him to take that in consideration. This isn't just a normal murder sentencing.
The judge properly kept out these photos from the trial because they're evidence of the rape allegation, and Hunter Grissom never lived long enough to defend himself against that accusation. If he had, his family and friends say, we would have heard a very different story. Do you believe that Tracy Grissom has told the truth of what happened?
I do not.
Shelley Standridge was Hunter Grissom's lawyer. She says Hunter denied ever raping or assaulting Tracy, but he did admit that on the night of the rape, he and his ex-wife had consensual, rough sex.
Do you believe if Hunter Grissom had gone on trial for rape, that he would have been convicted?
Absolutely not.
Do you think Tracy knew that?
Probably.
This is what Hunter said happened the night of the alleged rape.
So that night, Hunter says that she was depressed and claiming she was going to kill herself. She was saying she wanted their relationship to work.
Tracy was taking the anti-anxiety drug Klonopin, and according to Hunter, on the night of November 22nd, he watched Tracy take more than her prescribed dose.
It's similar to alcohol, where your balance is impaired, your speech is impaired.
And that's the reason, Hunter said, that Tracy fell and cut her head. It was an accident, and the injury seemed minor. Somewhere around 10:30 p.m., Hunter said he left and went to his father's house. He confirms that Tracy called him much later at 3:20 a.m. But this is how Hunter described that call.
He said that she threatened him, if you don't want the responsibility of these children, I'll make it to where you don't ever get to see them again.
Then why would she cry rape if it didn't occur?
I don't know what her motive is, but I will tell you that she told me under oath that she was upset that he had a girlfriend.
Hunter said he heard nothing about an assault or rape until he was arrested almost 12 hours later.
So it kind of comes down to he said, she said.
But what she says is not true. I never found anything independently that verified any of her claims.
Start with Tracy's claim to police that she was thrown against the bathtub around 10 p.m. and was unconscious until about 4 a.m. the next morning.
But her phone records show she was on the phone all night, so she was never unconscious. She was using her data at 10:42 p.m. that night. She was using it again at 10:50 that night. She sends a text to her boyfriend at 1:49 a.m. She sends a text to her friend at 2:07 a.m. She sends another text to her boyfriend at 2:07 a.m.
How does Tracy explain it? She blames the calls on Hunter.
I do know I was not the only person that was using my phone that night.
Tracy insists she was unconscious, but Shelley quotes from medical records that describe Tracy's head wound as purely superficial.
That required how many sutures to close?
One suture.
Those same records also seem to contradict Tracy's claim that the rape left her with internal tears. And while Tracy did have bruises on her ankle and legs, the photos taken by police at the emergency room look nothing like the photos that Tracy and her friend Lauren Richards took days later.
Something doesn't add up. This picture is an area of her body that investigators photographed on November 23rd, which would have been some hours after the alleged rape. And then she provides this.
I mean, this shows discoloration here, that you see nothing there.
Warren says that Tracy was on blood thinners, which caused her to bruise more easily. But he says it doesn't explain the severity of her injuries. But then, what about this? A deep bruise on Tracy's inner thigh that isn't seen either in police photos or those taken by Lauren Richards. It shows up in a photo that, according to digital records, was taken on December 9th, more than 2 weeks later.
But if Hunter Grissom didn't cause these injuries, then either someone else did or she did it to herself.
She was a nurse. One of her listed specialties is wound care.
Shelley says Tracy isn't just lying about the alleged rape. She says that Tracy knew Hunter was working. 2 months before the murder, Shelley says, Tracy's own lawyer had submitted a list of 18 jobs that Hunter had been doing.
I don't know what her attorney's time frame was on that, but I can tell you, she had not seen that document.
Which story will the judge believe at sentencing? Tracy Grissom's future depends on it.
So how are you trying to spend these last few days?
I'm trying to prepare for the worst, but hoping for the best.
When you say prepare for the worst, what's the worst?
Life in prison.
This is the day when Tracy Grissom finds out her future, if and when she'll see her children again. She she bids a tearful farewell to friends
I'm scared.
and makes a last call
I love you so much, Bubba.
to her brother, Travis.
And that's so not fair. I ain't done nothing wrong.
1 month after being found guilty of murdering her ex-husband, Hunter, Tracy heads back to court for sentencing. The prosecution is asking for 40 years. Tracy is hoping for 20, served mostly on probation. It's all riding on whether the judge believes that she suffered abuse at the hands of her husband and then shot him dead, believing he would do it again.
I hope that he will take the mitigating things that have happened to me and the things that happened to me prior to May 2012 into consideration, even though they weren't allowed into court, as why that happened that day, and to allow me to go home to my babies.
Attorney Warren Freeman argues the battered woman defense, calling social worker Miriam Waters, Tracy's rape counselor, to the stand. Cameras were allowed to shoot through the window, but without sound.
I wanted the court to know that she had been through a very, very brutal beating and sexual assault, because that's how I feel, that's what I think happened.
Also on the stand is that juror who had a change of heart after hearing about the alleged rape. She tells the judge she wishes she had instead hung the jury.
As you heard from one of the jurors that was here, they wanted to hear more about the rape. They felt like they were not allowed to see enough of the evidence.
Tracy's friend Lauren Richards says she has seen enough.
I believe that he raped and sodomized her, and I believe that she felt like he was going to hurt her, abuse her, rape her, assault her, kill her that day.
And she believes that even when confronted for the first time with those contrasting photos taken by investigators.
Did that concern you at all, that the pictures taken right afterwards of Tracy's injuries don't seem as severe as the injuries that she shows up with at your house 2 days later?
It didn't concern me and it didn't surprise me because bruises progress. You know, I watched that exact same bruise continue to progress.
Then Tracy gets another chance to tell her story. She describes the gruesome details of the alleged rape and the terrible fear that she says haunted her life.
I feel 100% that if I had not done what I did, I'd be dead and the situation would be totally different.
For 5 hours, the judge listened, then made his decision that made nobody happy. Tracy Grissom got 25 years. Not the maximum, but not the minimum either.
So unfair. It's so not fair.
But Melanie Garner believes Tracy is where she should be.
I feel like Tracy's a very, very troubled young woman.
Tracy, is there anything else you'd like to say?
I just have somebody on the fight for domestic violence.
And I just feel like that she is exactly what she was convicted of and that she is a murderer.
1, 2, 3.
Hunter's mom will now raise that little 5-year-old girl who will grow up with only a distant memory of the father who loved her.
She wants to hear her father's voice. She knows what he looks like because we have so many photos of him. But she said, I want to hear my daddy's voice.
Oh, good girl. Good girl.
It's great sadness that he is not there for her.
Despite the murder conviction, despite the evidence against her, despite the 25-year sentence, Tracy Grissom still maintains she's a victim, not a cold-blooded killer, a story she's sticking to, even behind bars.
It's no longer about me anymore. Domestic violence is such an epidemic in this country. Know that it does happen to the girl next door.